Denis McDonough is the president's chief of staff. Dennis, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt.
Nice to see you. During the president's last press conference of 2014, he was asked how he might be able to work with the new incoming Republican-controlled Congress. And he said, quote, the tax area is one area where we can get things done. And now he's proposing a middle-class tax cut paid for with a tax hike on the wealthiest Americans that just about everyone says cannot pass this Congress. So why is he going this route?
Look, I think what the president is saying is that the middle-class economics that we've pursued since 2009 have gotten us to where we are. You heard Peter just talk about it, which is more and more Americans are feeling satisfied or feeling better about the economy. There's still work yet to be done, and that's what he wants to talk about tonight. So we outline a series of middle-class tax cuts. And what the president is saying, and by the way, we pay for them.
But Dennis, it can't pass, and nobody says it can pass. People say it's dead on arrival. Isn't it a political maneuver, some kind of a trap to simply get Republicans in a bad spot as the 2016 election approaches?
Matt, the president's run his last campaign. What the president is saying is that any tax reform ought to make sure that it benefits the middle class. We ought not avoid the working families of this country who have seen over the course of the last 3 decades not only our costs going up, college costs, everything else, but their wages are stagnant. So the president has a proposal, very concrete, to invest in the education and training that middle-class families need to see those wages grow. Now, you could do one of 3 things, Matt. You could either not do those policies, and that may be the Republicans' goal, or you could do those policies and not pay for them and add to the deficit. Well, we've reduced the deficit by 2/3 since we took office.
Let me move on.
Or three, you could do those things and pay for them in a responsible way. That's what the president is proposing. If the Republicans have other ideas to focus on the middle class, let's do that. So far, we haven't heard them, but we welcome that debate.
Let me move on to Syria. There's a report in the New York Times this morning that says that the administration may be subtly shifting its policy in Syria, given advances of ISIS and frustration over progress there, that the administration may no longer feel that the immediate removal of President Assad is the only way to move forward there. Has there been a shift in policy?
Look, a lasting resolution in Syria is going to require Assad to leave. He's lost the legitimacy to lead, as the president has said numerous times. We're willing to work with our partners there in Syria and in the region, as well as other international partners, to make sure that that happens. But, though the timing of that will be something that will be worked out in a political resolution. That's how things like this get resolved.
But do you see any scenario under which President Assad would remain a part of the Syrian government for the long term?
I do not.
All right. And let me just ask you one final question about Paris last week. The White House has admitted it made a mistake in not sending a high-level representative. Can you just tell me what the thoughts were like and what was said in the Oval Office when these images were being broadcast across the world of 40 or so world leaders arm in arm in the streets of Paris and our president was not there?
Matt, we've said that we regret we didn't send somebody more senior than our ambassador. That rests on me. That's my job. I regret it in particular because the melee that assumed after that has covered up and obfuscated the very good progress that our intelligence agencies, our law enforcement, FBI, and DOJ, and all the cooperation they're undertaking, not only with our French counterparts, but with our European allies across the board to confront this threat. That's what we ought to be focused on. Unfortunately, the decisions I made obfuscated that effort. We're going to continue to make sure that we're focused on that and working with our friends to make sure that something like this does not happen again.
Denis McDonough. Dennis, thank you for your time this morning. I appreciate it. We'll all be watching the speech tonight.
Thanks so much, Matt.
All right. And you can see the State of the Union address at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time right here on NBC.